Hey everybody, we're with Bill Morgan from Morgan CPAs, and it's about tax time here. So I thought we would get him on the line here and ask him some questions about taxes. And taxes is always a fun subject. So want to see if we had any questions for him that you can comment on below, and he'll answer. But also, we're just going to go over a few things. So how's it going, Bill?
Good. How about you?
Good.
Well, thanks
So
for having me.
yeah, no problem. No problem. Bill's been doing my taxes for a few years now. He's definitely saved me a few pennies, and I appreciate that. And so we'd love to save everybody else some money too, if possible. So, Bill, what are some of the biggest deductions that people might miss on their personal returns?
Well, one of the big ones is sales tax on large purchases. So if somebody buys a car in that year, sometimes we want to look at that compared to how much they withheld personally for state and local taxes, and we compare the two to figure out which one's the largest. So that's something people don't think about. So definitely, if you bought a car, make sure you look at the sales tax on it, because that could be a deduction for you. Um, Another big one is the health insurance premiums that you're paying. That is an itemized deduction as well that a lot of people miss out on. They think that the only allowed to do is out-of-pocket expenses, but they can actually do the actual health insurance. The other one that's a little more obscure that I'd like to point out is if you have somebody who owns their own business and they're paying Medicare, you can claim that as self-employed health insurance, as a self-employed health insurance deduction, which moves it to the front of your tax return and allows you the deduction on the state and the city side as well if you have city taxes. So that's a big one I like to bring out to people.
Okay. Yeah, when you started helping me out, you started pointing out all kinds of things, and I hate taxes, and I was glad to have you guys board. It was like an aha moment. Uh,
Well, thanks.
yeah. So what are some of the other, like I use, you have me using Quicken, and it's starting to rain here in my car, so it might get a little noisy. Hopefully not. Coffee shop was way too loud, so I came out here. Uh, the what are some of you have me using QuickBooks, and what are some of the other things that I think you said that's for like a business owner, and you have some suggestions for personal?
Yeah, we'd like people to use Quicken because on the personal side, business is always good with QuickBooks. That's I'm going to tell you 95% of the time for small business, use QuickBooks. Personally, Quicken has some really nice features, and it ties in with Mint that'll track all your expenses as you spend them on your debit card. But Quicken will allow you to combine your stock portfolio, several bank accounts, your real estate, because one of the things you're always looking at is how the whole idea of tracking things is to make sure you stay on budget, and secondarily that you're accumulating wealth over time. And I always tell everybody, Warren Buffett invests in things where there's four pillars to it: that sales, net income, cash flow, and equity all increase by 10% on a year-over-year basis. And you can apply that into your personal life too in the same way using something like Quicken. So you want to see that your wages are increasing or your income stream through a lot of different avenues. So, and remember, you don't make money by just going to work every day. You want to start making other buckets of money. So this kind of helps you guide you into that. You want to see that your cash is improving over time instead of a net income conversation. We just want to see if your overall income coming in minus the expenses that you're paying out is improving from one year to the next. And your equity is kind of what your total net worth is when you're all said and done. If you own 4 rental properties and you have mortgages against them for the full value, you're not going to have any equity. But if you happen to get a good deal on them and you didn't pay that much, now you got a lot of equity there. So it's how to utilize the equity you have, the income you have, and the cash flow you have. And Quicken's a really good tool with that.
Okay.
Um, the other big one is Mint, like I was kind of alluding to here. And the third one that I recommend is actually Dropbox, because as we go through, things happen at home. If you have a flood, a fire, or anything like that, you lose a lot of sensitive documents. Whereas if you're scanning things in to Dropbox and keeping that type of stuff in a digital format, doesn't matter what happens to the original document, at least you have a copy. So if you need to go to the insurance company, it's something you can log into your Dropbox account and get those permanent records and things like that. And we work with people on kind of setting up the folder structure so you can find things 10 years later, which is always the secondary battle in that whole thing.
Sure. Yeah, you guys helped me out a ton with that when I was getting started, and thankfully now Jessica takes that over. I just send her out. I'm out doing meals and entertainment with a client or something. I just send her a picture of the receipt, and then she plops it in, either connects it right to QuickBooks or drops it in a folder. So it's gotten easier and easier for that.
Yeah, and the nice thing about like Quicken is you don't need to send the receipt because it's really for your own purposes. So let's say you go to Slow's Barbecue, that will automatically code it to meals and entertainment on the personal side, and you don't need the receipt for those. So it'll do that. So if your phone bill's hitting your credit card and all that, it'll break it up for you automatically. But a big thing too is in that, in usually 2 months before the year ends in October, it's a good time to start putting together your month-to-month annual budget for the following year, personally and for business purposes. In Quicken, you can take that budget and load it right in there so you can see how you're actually doing versus how you thought you should be doing. And that gives you the areas to work on.
Good, real good. Couple of things that you had mentioned that I don't know much about, and you said it's kind of a hot topic, is like the secure information and like passwords and LifeLock and all that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's changed over the years. Now when somebody wants to rob you, they get your social security number and your date of birth, and off to the races they go. And it used to be they had to break into your house to get that stuff. Now you don't even know that they have it, and they're taking advantage of it. So there's something out there, what I'm calling credit insurance these days, and a good company is one called like LifeLock. And what they'll do is, for a certain fee, like $15 a month or something, is that they offer protection to monitor what's going on your credit report, and also the bank accounts and the loans and things that you have and the credit cards you have, to see if there's unusual transactions that are outside of your normal routine system. So, and they literally call you. If I've had a few times, like went to buy something at the store, and they give you the promotional credit, 18-month zero financing. So you go through and sign it up, and I instantly, before they're even done approving me, I'm getting a phone call from LifeLock saying, did you open this account? And they'll continue to call you until you talk to them, or else they'll deny the transaction. And that's good from the preventative side. But if you get into a mess with your credit, it's not like you can go down to Social Security and get a new Social Security number. So it's one of those things where it used to not be an expense that you would worry about, but now I look at it like homeowners insurance. You pay for it, you hope you never use it, but if you do get into a situation, you can call up the agency and they'll take care of the problem for you, and they will go through and clean your credit for you. So to me, that's a nice peace of mind, especially if you're trying to work all day and you have a family and kids, and this is not something you want to be trying to deal with on your own.
Exactly. I can say from the real estate industry, we have a ton of wire fraud that's going on, and it's hitting even local. It's not just something we're hearing about in the news, where hackers are learning, jumping into people's email address, and I'm just saying electronic fraud, I guess is what I'm saying, is it's scary. And
yeah. Well, I know a big scam too a while ago in the real estate world was the title companies would pull the title work, and then somebody would find out about that, and they would place a lien on the property right behind the first mortgage, and nobody would know it. But since the hierarchy of liens goes, when the first loan got paid off, they didn't subrogate the second loan, so it automatically moved up to first position, and the new mortgage that came in behind it became a second position note. So they could call on the house, get all the equity based on their note because nobody's paying, and they foreclose on it. So that second note, so it got a lot of title companies in trouble a while back. And so, but that's another form of this cyber fraud. type
Yeah.
of stuff that goes on. So that's where this insurance stuff actually begins to make sense.
I love technology, but it's kind of scary what people can do out there. We won't even get into the cryptocurrency conversation. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But anyway, I think that's about it. Oh, I wanted to, people, I'll offer up, people can ask you questions if they'd like. If you want to go ahead and share your office phone number real quick so they have it. I'll maybe post in the link as well. Go ahead and share your number.
Sure. My phone number for the office is 616-776-6457. And that's, go ahead and give us a call. We're happy to talk to you through any sort of situation that you may have and kind of give you guidance on things that we can help you with.
And it sounded like too you were offering up potentially a thing where you might be able to look over somebody's previous taxes if they had any questions on it and whatnot. So something you're open to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. We when we bring on new people, we like to review the last year's return, if not 2 years, just to take a look and see if there's anything they missed that we could amend and take advantage of. And secondarily, we always like to sit down and make sure people are the right fit with us. So we offer kind of a free hour consultation. Now, with that being said, not between March 15th and April 15th, just because that's kind of a little bit of a hectic period for us. But any other time in the off season, we're more than happy to sit down for an hour for free and just see if it's a good fit. And, and I'll be the first one to tell you if you're not a good fit, I'll give you the guidance of where to go.
Sure. And what he means by a good fit, because I was talking to him earlier about this, is that he was mentioning, go ahead and tell him how it's not like everybody needs an accountant. Go ahead and.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you have one job or you and your wife both have one job and there's not a lot going on your return, you might have some mortgage interest and property taxes, I highly recommend you trying out a service, something like TurboTax on those type of things. If your returns get more complicated or you're moving in between cities or you bought a new house, you're getting involved in a business on the side, one of your parents had passed away and there's a trust involved, those are the things that you would want to come talk to us. But I mean, if you just have a W-2, it's a little, I almost recommend people go and try to do TurboTax themselves because it is a little bit of an experience in understanding how the system works and knowing how to kind of read through your return and things like that. I recommend that for people in that lower bracket because it's going to help you down the road to understand when you are offered a better deal on something of how it actually impacts you. So I typically say people in the $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 range, and if that's their W-2, you're not going to get a lot of value of coming to a CPA. But once you get over that limit, now we can start talking about HSA plans, 529s, different types of retirement vehicles, overall planning and budgeting. So, how your student loans fit into that and things like that.
Okay. Well, last question. I like to, help out clients and past clients and friends and whatnot. You do have a promo code, right, that exempts us from any tax for 2018. Was there?
Yeah. Let me get that for you real quick. Oh, there. Oh, I'm gonna put it up right now for you. You ready? Here it comes.
Well, thanks, Bill.
No problem.
Always fun chatting with you guys. And very informative. And you hear from us probably once every couple of weeks on a question we have, and you guys are always right on top of it answering it. So we appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
So thanks again, and we'll see you around.
All right. See you later, Mark. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.